Active FM. Radio has never been better.
What is up?
Hey, guy and girl
This is the movie show.
on Active FM.
I'm Sesh.
And my name is Ryan.
And today, it's not about one life. It's not about two lives.
And not 1-3 lives.
It's not about three lives.
It is about TH.
IRTEEN lives.
Thank you.
13.
That's right.
13 lives. Why is it about 13 lives? Well, in the year 2018, no, I'm joking. We are reviewing a film that is based on a true life story, through and through. Facts.
And can I just say, when last have you guys looked at the blue sky outside?
Yo.
Looked outside and actually see, like, have you guys seen how blue the sky is today? Like, seriously, go out and look at just look at it.
You know what I'm thinking? Someone in the UK is listening and they walk outside and they're like, it's really not blue, it's overcast.
But look beyond the overcast.
Oh, okay.
And I want you guys
X-ray vision.
to say, thank you, Lord, for my life and my safety. Thank you that I live in a safe zone. Because the movie that we're about to talk about, this movie was so intense. And before we continue, I want you to hit the like button down below and like this video if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening to this podcast, I want you to share this podcast out while we continue. Do it now. Right now. Go.
Go for it. Ryan,
And now-
you were ready. This film touched you, man.
And now we will continue.
Okay, so in the year 2018 in Thailand, it was 12 boys and their coach. So
Yeah.
in total 13 people went. So Thailand has a whole lot of caves and they're deep. They go like 2 to 3 kilometers. They're like long and wide and deep, etc. And there is a monsoon season, which I think is June and July. But this team they were exploring the caves and it wasn't monsoon season, so they shouldn't have gotten stuck in the cave. But what ended up happening was they actually got lost in this cave. It started raining and it rained, and eventually they got locked in the cave by water, completely waterlocked type of thing. And they couldn't get out. And they were there for something like 16 days. And it's not like they prepared themselves to get stuck in this cave. So they didn't have backpacks of food and water and oxygen. They literally got stuck in this cave for 16 days. They had no way to communicate to the outside world. The parents obviously knew they went missing. No one else knew if they were alive. And this is the story. And if you actually remember, like, I know my mom remembered this. She was like, oh yeah, I know that story. Like, it was broadcast like all over the world.
I was able to sort of tell my father-in-law about this film because he followed it as well.
Oh, did he follow
I was
it?
just like, do you remember the story about da-da-da in 2018? He's like, oh yeah. I was like, there's a movie made of it. Brilliant. He's like, okay, you must bring it to me. I was like, sure.
No, it really is so good. I was hesitant, like Ryan was like, Sash, because you have Amazon Prime. So he saw the film and he was like, we need to do this film.
It's not on Netflix. Finally. Yes.
And I was like, okay, yeah, cool, sweet. You know what? Let's do it. And then I looked at it, I was like, and you're like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie.
Really? Eh?
But it was,
Okay.
and then you still said like, it's brilliant. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me watch it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Enjoyed like it. I know you said it's your best film for 2022.
Definitely topped it. Right on top.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
For me, it goes alongside Elvis and Top Gun Maverick. Those are my three. They are currently sitting my 3 best films of 2022.
Yes, I'll actually be watching
Top Gun Maverick.
Yes, this week.
Yay! Which means next week.
You guys know exactly what we're watching next week. We left the last for best.
For best. The last for best. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a drama / survival film. You know what I've realized? I like dramas. I've come to realize drama, whenever they make a drama, it's a good film.
When did you say it? Last film or the film before?
Elvis is a drama.
So
I like.
which one was it?
But I think I've said it before as well.
That's what I'm saying. You have.
Yeah. Dramas are.
And I'm more an action kind of guy.
Yeah, you're action. You definitely are
But this
action.
film was.
No, this film. Yeah!
This wasn't considered action, right?
No.
This is just like very dramatic. But the thing that got me was the fact that I knew that this really happened. And I didn't 100% know the outcome. I knew that they got out, but I didn't get the details of
me
it.
too.
So that's why the film was still a very suspenseful film for me.
But I think even if you know what happened, I think it's still because you don't know the details.
For me, it kind of spoils it a bit. It
Yeah.
would for because I'd be like, I know it's fine. No, because like I watched it with my wife, as I always do. I always say that. But us having sons, she got very panicky because she related the boys to her sons.
Ooh. And they do that very well. They show
Yeah.
how I wouldn't imagine. I was just
parents
like
were
these.
freaking out.
The parents. I mean, imagine.
I didn't even want to go there in my mind. I just sat there. I'm like, don't go there. Just watch the film.
Don't
like,
go
let's
there.
just watch. And my wife went there. And at some point, she was like, okay, that's it. I'm going to bed. I can't. And I was
Sure,
just like,
really?
I was just like, no. So the next one, I was
Okay,
just
you
like,
see, I am not a parent, so for me, I was like, yo, imagine what the parents. But if I have no like. I personally cannot go there.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I don't have kids, so it's not like I can be
No,
like, oh,
it's-
little Frankie, what would I do with that? I can't do that because there's no little
no,
Frankie.
it's just yeah. So I think I watched the film on your level because, like
Yeah.
I said, I didn't go there. I didn't want to imagine my kids there.
No, no.
Yeah.
This it's actually such an amazing. This film is such an amazing experience. Like honestly, I was freaking out. I personally so what they had to do in order to save the boys or even find the boys was what they call deep sea. It's the equivalent of deep sea. What do they call it? It's cave diving. But now the difference between deep sea diving and cave diving is deep sea is you're underwater and
open.
you're like very deep. But apparently,
Pressure.
and I've also heard that deep sea diving is beautiful. I remember we were once at dinner with friends and him and his wife had both gone deep sea diving.
Yeah, that's on
and
my bucket list.
He literally said to me, you have to do it. It is an experience like no other. It's so beautiful. Him and his wife both said to me and my sister, it's so beautiful. You have to do it. And I was like, because for me, like being under a lot of water, I'm like submarine doesn't sound fun to me.
It sounds
I'm
fun
good.
to me.
I'd rather be on top of the
Yeah.
water or I'll go to space. Don't put me underwater.
You'd go to space.
I'd go to space rather
Like,
than.
space is like water.
No, it's not.
It's the
It's
same
not.
thing.
It's. But you can't see it.
Are you talking about visually?
As in, like the fact that. Woo! No.
Guys, we've just discovered one of Sasha's. What do you call it?
Phobias, yeah. Oh, no, don't
Uh,
put me under lots of water. Like
what-
a pool is cool. The beach is cool. I have no issue with the ocean. But being under like
Yeah.
a lot of so like with that, at least you're in like open spaces of water. Now on top of that, I think I could be slightly claustrophobic. Like that could be a thing.
I think I would be very claustrophobic.
Oh.
I cannot. Can I tell you? Okay, I won't even share one of my fears that I like. If I imagine about it, I react how you react.
What?
Imagine being in a building
And it's closing
and
in on you.
and it collapses.
Oh, shame.
You know where you hear them pulling survivors out of but they were trapped under there. Like imagine.
I've
just,
never gone there in my head.
Just imagine that what do you call it?
That
feeling
yeah.
where you have to sit like this and you can't move much.
So basically buried alive.
And you have to wait for people and you can't move. Oh, no. No. But, yes.
Honestly, you have to be so strong mentally.
No.
You have to, your
No, I
mental
couldn't.
capacity, your mental strength. I do.
I couldn't rather just, let me go. Thank you.
Let me die.
Thank you very much.
But like the fact that they had to dive under these types of conditions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I was just like, I can't do this. I enjoyed the film. Honestly, I remember we did Ambulance by Michael Bay. That film, I was more like panicked and like there was a slight unenjoyment to it because you're
Yeah.
like so panicked. And also The Revenant, there's also, you're under such stress as a viewer that there's like it was a good film, but also you're like, I wouldn't like to go through that again. This film, I would watch it again. And I would probably watch those other two films again, but I'd have to really like prepare myself for it. Like, okay, we're going to stress ourselves out now. Here we go.
I think when you know the outcome, it's
You
it's a bit
suppose,
more
yeah.
easier. Then you sort of get the details
Yeah.
of the film.
But like this film, it was very stressful, and I was literally sitting there going, if I was paid to do this, I wouldn't do it. Like I honestly don't think I'd do it if I was paid for it.
I think I would. I think I would really just mentally just tell myself, because I thought about this. I would mentally just tell myself, listen, you've got breathing gear on. Just think of yourself being in a cave above water, and if something happens, don't
don't panic.
relax. You can breathe.
I think
it's fine.
if I went through training and they like eased me into
Well,
it.
they would have to.
Yeah, they
train
would.
you.
But I mean, the actors didn't get a lot of time to train.
Yeah.
Like for what normal like cave divers the
Yeah.
normal amount of training time
Yeah.
they have, the actors, they didn't get that.
Because in this film, the usually they'd get a stuntsman in. So, well, just to go right through to the beginning, the cave was, as it was mapped out, the director Ron Howard actually built the whole cave on set as it was, to the point that the actors were like, they couldn't believe how intense it felt really diving in the water. So number one, the actors really, really dived. They went for the training. And as Sash was mentioning, you get like deep sea diving, and then you get cave diving. And I know that one of the differences is that in cave diving, the divers don't wear gloves, and that's because they have to feel their way around. Just imagine you have to feel your way around, and whilst your hands are bare like that,
Yeah.
they get full of scratches because
Yeah.
you're getting knocked. There's sharp rocks, etc.
Also, visibility is a thing.
Exactly. So the actors really did it. And something that Ron Howard did that was quite brilliant is that he didn't want them to get very familiar with the cave, and so they probably once or twice, and then they shot, even if they were unfamiliar in the confined space, in water, closed off, all of that stuff. Go for it. There you go. And then and they shot. And where deep sea, even within the film, you hear how the two guys, the two British divers, actually said to Taiwan's the Navy SEAL, the commando guy,
Yeah.
because they were like, no, the Navy SEALs here, these are my guys, they're experts. They're like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Deep sea diving, and this
Are not the
are
same.
completely. And you even see it in the film how the Navy SEALs, how they even one died. There were two. Well, one died because of the whole situation.
Yeah, he drowned.
Exactly.
He drowned. It was the one person. Okay, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know, pause and then go watch the movie and come back.
No,
So-
but it makes it so much riskier. Someone does die.
No, yeah, someone does die. So out of the whole rescue mission, one person did die.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, actually, no, sorry. One person died at the time of the rescue mission. Two people died in total.
Yeah.
The other person contracted a blood infection from the rescue and
right.
died later. So out of the whole rescue mission, there were two casualties in total. Yeah. But one died on scene, if I could put it
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And I know that within the interview about this film, they obviously spoke. So that they spoke to various professionals, and the one person they spoke to, I think she was a doctor, and she said even the boys, the big risk that they had was picking up a disease from
The cave.
especially when they when they're taking water, there's all sorts of bacteria they can develop within the stomach, and it can create the person to start, throwing up. And
then that's,
and then they dehydrate, and then they must drink more water, but in the waters. So there's a lot at risk.
The fact that they survived is
That's
actually a
crazy.
miracle. It really is.
Yeah.
I know that Ron Howard said that in his original plan, it was the actors would do 50% of the diving, and then they would have stunt doubles or stunt divers. And eventually, Vigo, he came to Ron and said, let us do all of the diving.
Yeah.
And Ron was like, okay. And so literally all the diving in the film is done by the actors, and he said it was really nice because it obviously freed them up to do different types of shots. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's much easier if you're filming the person than if you're now going, okay, wait, we can't see Ryan's
to shoot
face.
from the back.
We need to, so I
Get a
think
long shot.
that was,
Yeah.
but one of the things I really enjoyed about the film was the acting, because it didn't feel like acting. It didn't feel like you were watching actors. You
Sashi.
felt like you were watching real life.
The
Literally.
actors.
The actors were inside.
Those two.
And I know Colin Farrell, I know him, he's Irish, so if you hear him speaking interviews, he often doesn't use his Irish accent.
We see him in action films, right?
Yes.
Colin Farrell,
Yes.
He's like that kind of actor.
Yes, he's Colin Farrell's not who he was in this film.
That's what I'm saying.
And even I forgot. So I looked at the cast beforehand, and that's one of the reasons that excited me about the film, because I was like, okay, no, the cast is good. You have Tom Bateman, who I really enjoy. Obviously, you have Colin Farrell. Then I saw Joel Edgerton.
Yeah, that's right.
And I love him.
What other film was he from?
He was in The King. He wrote The
He's
King.
Australian, right?
Yes, and he's also been in a film with
I've
Tom
seen him-
Hardy. He's often in good films.
Yeah.
If he's in a film, chances are it's going to be a good storyline.
And the way that they didn't come across as these usually when they have an action hero or whatever, he's
yeah, no, these were ordinary
He's-
people. They were normal. They They were civilians.
This is where I saw the brilliance of these actors because they really just felt so like shoulders down, hands in their pockets. They just like seemed
They weren't heroes.
Just so. I still thought in the beginning because I didn't recognize Colin Farrell. I was still like, nah, I don't think so. And I still thought to myself, I wonder if these are the original actors because their acting is just a bit very down. Like there's not much energy. And then I was just like, wait, that is Colin Farrell.
Yeah. I didn't recognize Viggo, and then halfway through I was like, wait a minute, that's Aragorn's face. My living soul.
Same. I was also like, wait, I know this guy.
The whole time I was like, where's this guy from? Where? Because he looks
just
so different.
He
looks so different, yeah. Especially because he's got like no hair. No, that was but their acting was insane.
I don't like that very much.
And
that was the one line I was just like,
their accents were brilliant. So the acting was amazing.
Yeah.
And also I love how Ron Howard, he's really good with doing this. He pulls you into the drama.
Yeah,
like you really you are invested 110%. Like I know you said, so I watched the film in 2 parts, but I think I got to a point where, so they're starting the rescue mission, and I'm just going to say one of the boys starts to wake up, and I think I was just like, I cannot, I need to breathe, I'm going to sleep, and I will finish this tomorrow.
I was forward in that point.
I was just like, I can't handle, but I know you said Ryan was planning to watch it in like 2, because it is a 2 hour and I think 2 hours and 27 minutes, so it is quite a lengthy film.
10 o'clock's my bedtime. Otherwise, I'm finished the next.
You see, Ryan did not go to bed.
I didn't want to.
He didn't want to go to bed.
I didn't like that very much. I had to. I was just like, no ways.
So diver Rick Stanton, who's played by Viggo Mortensen, and he actually was he was on set constantly.
That's right.
Like he was literally there the whole time. He praised the film's accuracy, saying that the only cinematic change was that the cave water was muddy. And the real divers had zero visibility. That makes it worse. Now you can't even see. No, now you're blind and you're underwater.
There's only one way I'm diving in that, and that's if you put my boy at the other side. Other than that, I ain't going.
I was going to say that would be me dead.
Sure.
You're just dragging me along by a rope. Technically, she did it, And then also he said, though, if they had made it muddy in the film, it would have been impossible to demonstrate because the viewers wouldn't have seen anything. So that's the only thing that wasn't accurate, was the fact that the water in the cave was muddy. And that makes sense though, because I mean, think about it. There's soil and there's no sun.
I remember it was also the water was coming in from on top.
Yes, so that's why it would have been muddy.
Sure.
And then actors did 100% of the diving because Viggo approached Ron Howard and said, can Colin and I do all of this? And he was like, yeah. Also, they had been training with Rick Stanton and John Volanthen, who were the 2 actual divers.
I think that must have been an honor.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Not for them to work with the actors, for the actors to work
with the actual guys.
Trained. I mean, imagine those actors could have been like, I've been trained by
the actual guy.
Those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a film coming up and they also have to do it. In fact, it might just add on something onto
No, it would, because they all had to get you have to get a license to do that type of diving. All of them had to get, I think Viggo said he had a license, he had to renew it. Tom Bateman, I think, got, and I think Joel also, they had to get a license. So I mean, they literally learned a new skill to.
Yeah, that must be cool.
Yeah, and then Ron Howard said it obviously made his editing and storytelling way easier, because now you don't have to like dodge the person's. Yeah. So now Viggo was he was lucky because Rick Stanton was on set constantly, and literally he could watch him. He could watch the way he walks, the way he talks, his mannerisms, everything. I mean, he was literally watching the guy the whole time. So he just had to copy him. Whereas Colin Farrell didn't have John, the character he was playing, with him, but apparently they did speak frequently over Skype. And also, this is insane. So, John, the actual diver John, he is a marathon runner. That's what he does.
Yes.
So Colin Farrell actually took up distance running as a hobby, and at the end of the shoots, or actually during the shoots, it wasn't at the end of the shoot, during the shoots, he actually completed the Brisbane Marathon. And Ron Howard still said, I watched on Vanity Fair, they did notes on a scene. Ron Howard still said, Colin came to him and said, I'm doing this marathon. And he said, as a producer, you actually do have the right to say no, because it was his day off, but also it would affect I mean, you'd be tired
the
after running a
filming,
marathon, and he's
true.
doing a physical, like, this film was very physical. They were in a wetsuit 10 to 12 hours each day. I mean, they were literally
With
diving
those,
the oxygen
yeah.
tanks, and often carrying people or whatever.
So that would have been like quite an experience for them to
Yeah.
sort of get a taste of, those
Physically.
divers
Yeah.
going in and out
Yeah.
those caves, carrying people, the gear.
Yeah, and but Ron Howard allowed Colin Farrell to run the marathon, and Colin Farrell said he'll be fine the next day. It won't affect him. Ron Howard said it obviously did affect him because he was tired, and Ron said he still he had no mercy the next day. He like pushed him but he also had to stick to filming schedule. But like just the fact that Colin Farrell did that, like the fact that he actually
Yeah.
he ran the marathon, and also around 33 minutes of the film, that you see the governor announces to stop the rescue attempts until the rain stops. Farrell is actually wearing a Spartathlon shirt, which is obviously marathon, etc., etc. So they even brought it. For me, I loved the production design. I loved the costume. It didn't look like they were wearing costumes, but I loved how.
I was thinking,
Like that's the thing, is you don't think it's costumes, but it's all
Yeah.
costumes. It's not it's not their wardrobe. It's not like they dressed in the morning. Like someone dressed all of them in
how
their
they would have dressed according to the real
So
characters.
I thought that was really cool. Also, on top of that, this is one of the reasons I'm like, I don't know if I would have been able to do this. So once shooting was completed, the actors actually confessed to Ron Howard that they all suffered moments of panic while filming their diving scenes. All of them. Every single one of them said that they all had a moment of panic while doing the diving.
That really tells you something, eh?
No, it's hectic. Yeah. And then Tom Bateman revealed that Viggo Mortensen would often volunteer to fix equipment or technical issues himself rather than wait for the crew dive team to do it.
Oh, cool.
So they really like
They
went
became
all
experts.
in. Yeah, they
became
really
experts. Cool.
yeah. Originally John, who's played by Colin Farrell, wanted Rowan Atkinson, who's Mr. Bean, if you don't know, to play him. And Ron Howard replied to him and said, "We're just not making that kind of movie." And he later told him, later he would tell him that the role has gone to Colin Farrell. And not being a movie buff, John later confessed that he didn't know who that was until obviously
I've heard the name somewhere.
Yeah, like I don't know
Somewhere
who
I've heard the
Colin Farrell. But how funny is that he wanted
Yeah.
Rowan Atkinson to play. I do think Rowan could have done it, but I do think because people automatically associate him
Well,
with Mr. Bean,
He was an IT professional, not Mr. Bean, John.
Oh,
John,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
So you have that type of personality.
Yeah.
Which he's like still carrying in his wetsuit, then he's wearing his glasses. I was like, I wonder where the glasses go once he gets into the diving.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is they were so ordinary. Like normally, like what superhero has glasses? Not sunglasses.
Superman.
No, that's his that's his, what's it called? That's
Disguise.
Yes, that's a disguise. I still
He's
don't
wearing
understand
glasses.
that.
That's exactly the same as John. He wore the glasses. Then when he went underwater, the glasses were gone. He
No,
was
I
like,
don't.
yeah, baby.
I'm sure he's
Super diver.
His goggles. Oh wait, but it would have been. He didn't have to see underwater. Run. It's muddy.
That still gets me, eh? Muddy. That makes sense why they had to feel their way around
Yeah.
a lot, eh? Sure.
And then to transform into his role, Colin Farrell got scuba recertified and shaved his signature widow's peak. A widow's peak is when you know when people's hairline comes forward like that.
Oh, is that a widow's peak?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they both were, but they both did exactly what they needed to do to look like the person they were playing. The two
Yeah.
divers that they were playing. Yeah. And then Colin Farrell stated that he experienced frequent panic attacks while underwater and is hesitant to film any aquatic scenes in the future. With
Well,
you, Colin.
I'm sure the ocean is different, right, Colin? We have Colin on the line.
Sorry, Colin's breaking up a
Yeah,
bit.
mate, definitely.
No,
Definitely very different.
Irish. He's Irish.
I lost you for a second.
Sorry, Island is we're battling technical issues at the moment. So the sets were insane. The sets were the fact that they rebuilt those caves was insane.
Did you see any of the behind the scenes?
I did. It's
very well done.
It's very well. It's insane. But they were built in an enormous airplane hangar sized building, using double Olympic sized tanks and long sections of tunnel which would be flooded with 20 feet of water. I mean, that's insane. The cast would practice for several hours each day to work out their movements through each passage. Then each successive section, so as they moved on in the tunnel, it got more difficult to navigate, like in real life how it would have been.
Yeah.
So each tunnel got more difficult to navigate and was built while the first one was in use for filming. So as they were using this one, they'd be building the next one, then as they etc.
Yeah.
The cast would film their underwater scenes and then train on the next section. So literally that's what they were doing every day. They'd film this section, train on the next section.
That's a lot of clever scheduling.
Yeah.
Very, very good scheduling.
That's also why Viggo spoke to Ron Howard, because he said to him, please schedule it in a way where we can do all the diving. Because obviously they could have done, guys, we're filming this, but then while we're filming this, the stunt divers.
We just need a long shot of a guy in a diving suit. No.
So instead, And then Viggo Mortensen said if they'd given us the 4th or 5th section to do in the first week, we wouldn't have known how to do it. It would have been too hard. So literally, as it was like, you know how you play a video game and you go from stage 1 and it gets harder and harder, but because you've done stage 1, you're able to do stage 4. Literally, that's the case with the caves. They actually gained like the skill to do it as they went along. Yeah. And then experts assigned to supervise the filming stated that this was the most potentially dangerous production they've ever worked on. That
Really,
actually shows how dangerous the rescue mission was as well.
Yeah. Yeah. You almost think like, okay, but on set there's lots of people around, they can help.
But think about anything could go wrong.
Yeah.
And then you have to get to the person. The person's not here. They're in that tunnel and you have to dive. Wait, I just imagine it. Something goes wrong and you're stuck. You can't just like press a button, the door opens, you walk out. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The water just...
No! Hectic stuff, man.
It makes me want to, try diving. Like really.
I think I'd be proud of myself for doing it because it's a big challenge.
I'm actually like super keen to
cave dive.
To do
no, deep sea.
Almost there. I would like to try that. I really would.
I think I'll start with deep sea.
I'm sure there's like where we are. We're not anywhere near the ocean.
Yeah, we're not by the ocean.
But I know that there are places
that you can
where you can go and learn how to scuba dive and
get
all
a
that.
scuba license.
Yeah, I'm actually seriously. If anybody knows anything out there, just comment
down below. Put a link.
Tell me or give me a free training session.
One of the things that Ron...
What if they say, Ryan will give you a free session if Sesh comes along?
I'll come along, Ryan.
There you go. Then
you see me screaming. Yeah, no shame. So Ron Howard, honestly, is an amazing director, and I think one of the things I love about Ron Howard is
he seems so simple.
Yes, and you can never, like Guy Ritchie, Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, when you watch their films, you know it's them. Like you know it's them straight up. Whereas Ron Howard, you don't actually know it's him. Like for him, he's one of those directors that don't have a mark on the film.
He goes true to the story.
Yeah, he's more true to the story. Yeah. But honestly, I remember watching A Beautiful Mind and being completely blown away. In fact,
Beautiful
I want to watch
it. Is on Prime TV.
Is it?
I saw it, yeah.
Also, Apollo 13. That was also brilliant. That's with Tom Hanks. Also brilliant. We did. And it's so good. But one of the things that Ron Howard even speaks about himself is he loves collaborating. And I think because he likes doing that, his production is on such a big scale. So in total, more than 1,000 people took part in the action with this film. In addition to Thailand, they came from Oh no! Wait, sorry. Look, they did have a very big cast. I mean, he did work a lot with like the Thai people.
Yeah.
He even had
There were even people like the boys that couldn't speak English.
Yes, they couldn't speak English.
They had like one or two guys that spoke English,
Yes.
so they could use them as an interpreter.
Yeah, but in real life, there were people that came from Australia, Denmark, Japan, China, Burma, Great Britain, and the USA. So really, it was like the world came together to like save these boys. They really did come together to save these boys. This is also the third disaster movie based on a real event for director Ron Howard and writer William Nicholson, following Apollo 13 and Everest. I didn't know he did Everest.
I don't think
I haven't watched it. But when I found out it was him, I was like, okay, I could actually give Everest a try if it's Ron Howard.
All right. So after Top Gun, no, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, wait. Maybe
we'd have to check it out first. You know.
Now, so Ryan mentioned that when they dive with the cave, they don't wear gloves. So obviously their hands, I mean, because they're knocking into rocks and stuff, their hands, you saw it in the film, their hands take a beating. At first, Ron Howard actually said that was makeup, but he said eventually the actors earned those scrapes in their own right because
for real.
They were diving themselves. So eventually they didn't need, imagine like getting the makeup artist, we don't need you anymore. Why? They're getting scraped by themselves. So
Oh, I see your makeup's still fine from yesterday. No, that's not makeup.
That's my blood.
Did you not shower? No, I did.
I told you to take it off, man. The product's not good on your skin.
I don't like it very much.
Also, the way they filmed this was insane. I saw behind the scenes footage where so many of the POV shots were filmed by the actors.
Yeah.
So in one of the behind the scenes, you actually see both actually. So the one was he was holding the camera in front of him.
And then he moved it to the side.
And then the other one, Colin Farrell was always behind Viggo. So he was filming him, literally.
And it looks like her. Smile, mate, you're on camera. And it even looks like, I was just trying to figure out, I don't know if you saw, they had like this board on top of the camera. It looked like they literally had like a reflector.
So that you could...
They used the actor's light. It looks like that's what's happened.
Clever.
I was just like, wait, what is that board on top of there? So
that's insane. Yeah. And then also, Ron Howard wanted a lot of it to be documentary style, that's the way he wanted it shot. That's also why he did a lot of like POV shots.
What is documentary?
So
is that like the POVs?
Yeah, it's the POVs and also like the GoPro footage. Not that he showed the GoPro footage, but that GoPro footage was actually real. There's the real life, as in from the actual rescue.
I've seen it, yeah.
So Ron Howard said he wanted to recreate that GoPro footage in the scene where they find the boys. And when they find the boys, that scene where the first time they find the boys, that was actually the first shot they filmed of the movie. Now, Ron Howard said he didn't want to shoot it first because it's such a pivotal scene and you normally don't start filming with like such a pivotal scene. But he said they had to because logistically they needed to change the sets and they needed that water tank. So they didn't have a choice but to film that shot first. So they ended up filming that shot first. And then with the, I don't know if you remember, so first of all, when they first come up from being underwater, Viggo says, "Do you smell that?" And that was obviously, they thought they were going to find 13 corpses in the cave.
That's why I'm like, smell what? Do you smell breath? Do you smell?
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
And then also so at one point he says we're out of line, or we're almost out of line. Now apparently what happened was on set that day, Rick Stanton remembered that he actually just remembered at the time that was a concern for him because obviously they couldn't go further if they were out of line. And when Viggo heard that, he actually said to Ron Howard, "Wait, can we do that again?" And that's when they did it again, and he added that line to say we're out of line, so that it added to the suspension.
Really helps having the real person on
set with you, so that This is also insane. Do you know that all but one of those Thai kids had acted or have acting skills?
I wonder which one didn't.
None. No. Only one had.
Only one had.
They weren't actors. Those boys aren't actors. They literally didn't hire actors. They got just normal kids. But one thing that Ron Howard did say is that they were very well prepared. They knew their lines, they knew the scene, and they really did become a team. And so he also said they were led through like different acting exercises, but really the one boy that did speak English in the film was the one boy that actually only spoke English in real life. So Ron Howard said he would often communicate through that boy to the rest of the boys.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, and then also, so they made sure that when they were doing the casting process, they cast thin kids. So they did they looked for skinny boys.
Yeah.
But they did
Digitally enhanced.
yeah, they did. That was all digital technology that made them
I was
thin.
wondering about
I was also
that.
wondering because they were, when you saw, obviously they would be thin. They hadn't eaten for like 10 days. They literally found them 10 days. 10 days. 10 days. No food, no water, no, just darkness and dying, and I don't know. I think I would have died.
That's hectic.
And then I like this because I was watching an interview and I can't remember who said it, but someone described this as the perfect crisis. And I feel like that should have been the log line for the film. If it wasn't the perfect crisis.
Yeah, they got it.
It literally was the perfect crisis. Oh, it was beautiful though.
And I still like I said, I didn't know how they actually got them out there. You watch the trailer, you hear that there's some crazy idea. I'm thinking maybe they're going to pull them out from the top, maybe they're going to dig them out. So when they told them how they're going to do it, which I'm not going to reveal, because you guys must watch the film, and those who have watched the film, you're going, I was just like, that's brilliant. That's absolutely insanely brilliant. That's crazy.
You know what I also liked? So I personally don't have any experience or knowledge about diving or caves, or do you understand what I'm saying? Just because like where I've grown up, like, and also the fact we're not into like going into caves and stuff like that.
GoPros or anything like that.
Yeah. So, but I liked how as you were watching it, even though I have no knowledge, they would give you the risk, and you would actually understand, oh flip, they can't.
Why it's going to be a problem.
Yes. So like at first, like when they were diving in my head, it's like they just have to find the boys.
When they were
they
diving
find
in
the
your
boys,
mind.
you'll be fine.
They were diving in your mind.
No man, as in when they were
Sorry, that
diving
was just
in
two
my
lines.
mind, comma. When they were diving, comma, in my mind,
Yes.
comma. So also like, so when they found the boys, you're like, yes, they found the boys.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh wait, they have to get the boys out. How? And I mean, they'd gone 6 hours. Also the amount of time that it took them to. It's not this quick 2-minute. Whoop, like 6 hours.
I was
like,
I was concerned about them being hungry. I was concerned about them running out of air. Then they reached them and they still didn't have food. We're coming back. Don't worry. Very brave.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, but it's not. It's like we'll come back tomorrow.
I'm like, oh great, we're still gonna starve. All right, let's go.
And then also, like, obviously they show you at one point when they were helping a builder, not a builder, they were helping he was a guy that was trying to get water out of the
they
cave.
show you why it's gonna be a problem.
Yes, they show you how he panics, and which is naturally what would happen. And then as they go along, you're just, and then when they do come up with their solution, you're like, oh, that's brilliant. But then you're like, oh wait, that's like, first of all, it's never been done before, and second of all, you're like, oh.
And the doctor even said, what is he called? Anesthetist. Even he said he's expecting casualties.
Yes.
I was just like, great.
Like, oh, great.
Great.
And then it starts raining again. Oh.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
it just puts, I think that's part of, like, it's Ron Howard, well done. Shake my hand.
Ron,
my
you
hand.
did a good job.
Shake my hand. Well, okay, shaking my hand. Brilliant.
It was such a good film.
And I don't know if you ever watched any of the documentaries of the event.
I didn't get
the way that they describe how they brought the boys out. Because remember, it was a media that to cover up first if something happened.
Yeah.
They just said they used medication to keep the boys calm. And it wasn't. They
did keep the boys calm.
I'm sure waking up again, they're like, sure, I feel like I've been...
I've gone under anesthetic, so I know that feeling of you're awake and next minute you're not awake, and then you wake up and you're like,
well,
where? So I think they must have just been so grateful when they woke up to not be in a cave.
My wife described to me that because one of my sons, my youngest son, has gone into hospital twice, and they've gone for quite a serious operation where they've had to put him out. And she says it's actually not like seeing your child just pass out like that, because you almost get this like lifeless body type of thing. So I think that was that's the point of the movie where she left. She's like, no, you can't. You're crazy. That's crazy. You can't get up, walk out. Can't.
It's also dangerous. So I know, I know me and my father, we both don't react well to being put under anesthetic.
Before or after?
After. So I remember I went out for, the only operation I've been in for is my wisdom teeth, but they put you out completely. And
in the hospital.
Yes. I was, I think, second. And I remember they didn't put he asked, would you like the mask or would you like injection? He said he personally would advise the injection. So I said, do the injection. And I remember him doing it, and then he was talking, and then I don't remember.
Right?
No, just like an injection, like they did in the film, yeah. So
but same place or?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
They took that from you, yeah?
Yeah, they took it. And then I was out, and then I remember waking up, they were bringing me back, and then I was out, and when I woke up, my mom, I was the second. There was a whole ward of us, like a whole full ward of us going. I was second going. When I woke up, everyone else was gone. That's the effects that it had on me. It knocked me out completely. Like, so I think that's also, it's not just like, okay, he's breathing. Is he going to wake up type of thing. And shame when the one boy wasn't.
Yes, when he wasn't breathing.
No, the worst part.
I was like, oh, there it is.
The
one
worst
dies.
The worst part was when Tom Bateman lost the line.
Yeah.
Oh, shame.
I was just
shame.
And his reaction.
That's so shame.
But it's good though because they show you how, each diver wasn't just, yes, so we're just doing a job. They were like also very affected. Because they know that it's a child, the stress.
And then also when Joel's character, so shame, he finds out that his father's sick, and the way that ended, I was just like, no, but it was still a very good film.
So like he saved a life or two, but then he lost his father,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good film though. It was a very good film. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I just thought of all that stress, like the physical stress as well on those guys. Because I mean, I don't know if you were watching the time, they were saying
yes.
5 hours. So it took about 3 hours and 40 minutes, right? To the other end. And it would be
it was, okay, yeah. It was 6 hours.
But coming back was a little bit longer. So you can imagine for 3 hours.
You're in the dark.
The physical, and
you're underwater.
There was a current.
There's a current.
You see?
You're dying.
And there's the physical.
There's no hope. You should just stop.
I'm sure
I wouldn't have survived.
The last dive already, they're like, oh yeah, it's that corner. I remember this corner. Oh, here we go, the loop. It's the loop. They probably had a name for each joint.
But that's also the thing is you can't mentally. It's not like you can speak to people. So mentally, you're alone. Even though there's someone in front of you, maybe, but you're alone for 6 hours. You are alone in a confined space
with a boy
underwater. Yeah, I respect those guys. Take my hat off too. Yeah. They are the real life superheroes.
Usually they're like,
stuff the Avengers. No one cares about the Avengers. These people are the real life superheroes.
Super diver, next Marvel character.
No, don't take it, Marvel. Don't. Marvel, just
They're gonna
stop.
Stuff it up.
No.
Copyright that now.
Yeah, no, but it was very good.
Yeah,
it was
very
very,
good.
very, very good. Go watch it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Next week we've got an awesome film.
Yeah.
We go from underwater to in the sky.
To the sky. There we go.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that one.
Yes. This has been the movie show.
On Active FM.
Peace.
Cheers.